Hi, this is Denise Mathew, and today we're going to talk about the profile 6.3 in human design. And if you haven't already, please feel free to check out my other videos where you can learn more about human design and how you can use it in your life. So, let's get started and talk about the profile 6.3. The profiles are made up of 6 different lines, and there's 12 different combinations for the profiles. That means that everyone has one of these profiles, and it's based on the date and time of birth. The profiles change throughout the day, so somebody born on the same day as you may not necessarily have the same profile as you, because their time of birth is different than yours. The profiles are always calculated already for you, so you don't have to worry about how to do it. In human design, the profiles talk about our character and how we operate in the world, and add one more dimension on the information the body graph can give. I've already done videos on how the profile lines act alone, and today we're going to see how they act together. And if you want more information, you can check out the videos that I've already done. The profile numbers always come from the conscious sun and the unconscious sun. The first number will always be the conscious sun, and the second will always be the unconscious sun. So when we talk about the profile, some people may find that they connect more with the first number than they do the second, based on their age, because usually after the age of 40, the unconscious side of the body graph becomes something that we're more aware of. But just because you may be less aware of the design part of your body graph until later in your life doesn't mean that it's not as important. Ultimately, both lines are equally important. So what does it mean to have a 6.3 profile, and how does it affect your character? The 6.3 profile is one of the 4 transpersonal profiles and is also called a left angle profile. When you carry a left angle profile, you're here to give karma to any person that you meet. And that doesn't necessarily mean that you have to have a relationship with them. You could just meet walking down the street, and without even saying a word, the transpersonal karma can be given to the other person. It's all about an energetic transfer, and it isn't anything that somebody with a left angle profile has to consciously think about. In human design, the theory is that anybody who carries a left angle profile has more of a fated life and a more destined trajectory. People who carry a left angle profile can sometimes be recognized by people as being familiar, even if they've never met. So instead of having a personal journey where people are finding more out about themselves, somebody with a left angle profile is here to play a role in everyone they meet's lives, in whatever big or small way that happens. The 6.3 profile is made up of the role model and the martyr, also called the experimenter. When somebody carries a 6 in their profile, they have a 3-phase life. From birth to 30 would be considered their experimental stage. Then it's followed by what's called going on the roof, where they integrate all they've learned in their experimental stage. And after the age of 50 or 51, when they've had their Chiron return, they will fully embody the expression of the role model. And when it's combined with the line 3, you have somebody who carries a lot of experimental energy, especially in the first 28 to 30 years of their life, when the 6th line is going through its 3rd line phase. And for this reason, somebody who carries this energy can bump up against a lot of things in the first phase of their life. The 6.3 profile is considered to be a rare or uncommon profile. Just like most people who carry the 6th line, somebody with the 6.3 profile usually has a feeling of having a greater purpose in life. This feeling of having a greater purpose can be a catalyst for them to experiment in their lives. Somebody who carries this energy can be an adrenaline junkie and somebody who works hard and plays hard as well. When somebody carries this energy, they can challenge the status quo in their search for something that works better. And their deepest desire is to make an impact on life in whatever way they can. But because of the experimental part of their profile, they have to experiment to find out exactly how they can make an impact on the world. And because all experiments don't go as planned, there can be some tough lessons in the first 28 to 30 years of their life. And because of the double 3rd line energy, a lot of the experimentation that happens with a 6.3 profile is in the area of relationships. And since a role model is always looking for their soulmate, who they want to take with them up on the roof, there can be an urgency to find the right person just before they go up on the roof around 30 years of age. And since the experimental part of a 6.3 profile never really goes away, even when they're up on the roof, they can be experimenting, withdrawing and then going back out into the world based on the experiments that they're doing. And this need for adventure might have them jumping into chaos, looking for the next way to experiment with excitement, and also understanding that the chaos and excitement and adventure that they jump into is also a learning tool. The trick with somebody who carries this energy is to know that all the experimenting that they do, despite the results, is important for them to learn what works and what doesn't work so that they can relay the information. And also understanding that the chaos and excitement and adventure that they jump into is also a learning tool that teaches them how to make it through to the other side, so that by being themselves, they can show others how to be themselves as well, and how to maneuver around the obstacles of life, knowing that despite the circumstances, there's always hope and a way forward. It can be a rocky road for somebody who carries this profile, but understanding that all the stumbles in their life all lead to the same place, and despite the odds, humanity will always find a way back into the light. Since all types can carry the 6-3 profile, how does it feel for every type that carries the 6-3 profile? When a manifestor carries a 6-3 profile, they can be experimenting with a lot of things in their lives. And because of the nature of the manifestor, this will be seen in them initiating a lot of things, experimenting with what works and what doesn't work. And since they move so fast, if a manifestor informs those who are going to be affected by the initiations and the experiments, everybody will be on the same page, and the experiments that the manifestor is trying to initiate will be received in the best possible way. When a projector carries a 6-3 profile, they are experimenting just like the other types, and each experiment teaches them something new and gives them the wisdom of what works and what doesn't work. And because the nature of the projector is to guide and direct, and also to make a deep impact with the 6th line, there can be a need to want to tell everybody exactly what they know and the wisdom that they learned. But it's important for a projector to wait for an invitation to share what they know, discovered, so that when they share their information, it will be received in the best way possible. When a generator type carries the energy of the 6-3 profile, just like the other types, they will be experimenting with life as well, and knowing that every stumbling block that they come across is a learning opportunity that allows their wisdom to grow, so that when they eventually become role models, by responding to the right things and being an authentic representation of themselves, they can show others how to maneuver around the obstacles of life, and in doing so, they'll embody the full expression of their role model energy. When a reflector carries the energy of a 6-3 profile, they too are experimenting with life, and because of the nature of the reflector, their experimenting usually takes place in their community. By understanding that all they've learned in their life is an important part of developing to be a role model, a reflector can be a reflection of the community that they live in. Just by being themselves, they can show that despite the odds, there always is a way out of the dark into the light. This concludes the profile series. I hope you enjoyed it. And please stay tuned for my next series, which will be All the Fear Gates of the Spleen, starting soon. And if you like what I do, please feel free to subscribe and share it with your friends.